Hey guys, welcome back. This job was just a quick, came in with a very noisy exhaust, find it, fix it. Turns out the top side of the muffler had a couple big holes rusted in it. So we're just putting a direct fit muffler on. This is something simple anybody could do in their driveway, minus the welder. You just clamp it instead of weld it. You're going to see me mark it so I can measure up and make sure I cut the pipe long enough, when I cut the old muffler off. Anyway, while this one came in today, it got me thinking, and some winter tips that I figured I would throw out there for everybody. Number one, make sure your car is in good running condition. In the case of this one, you're always running around with the windows rolled up in the winter. Very seldom do you ever roll them down. If you're sitting in traffic a lot, or if you're letting it idle to warm up for periods of time, it is good to make sure that you do not have any leaks in your exhaust system, because the exhaust fumes will make their way up into the car, and carbon monoxide poisoning is a very serious and dangerous thing. So making sure your exhaust system is in good shape is very critical this time of year. Second thing is, if you don't want to do this stuff, or you don't have a way to do it, find a local mechanic and ask him just to give your car a quick once over. It might cost you $20-30 to have him look at it, but it's well worth the peace of mind. First thing that anybody can do is check your tire pressure. A lot of the newer cars have tire pressure monitoring systems. A lot of the older ones don't. Just this morning alone, I woke up, it was 4 degrees when I left for work. My tires had lost 8 pounds between a week ago when I aired them up and this morning when I left. Now, they were still fine, but I'd actually aired them up about 4 pounds over what is specified, knowing that the temperature change, knowing that we had some really cold temperatures coming. So I was going to lose air pressure just because it was going to get so cold. With that thought in mind, if you haven't checked your tire pressure in the last month, 2 months, you're going to be running low. That's not a good thing. Second thing, make sure you keep keep plenty of gas in your car, because this time of year you do not want to run out of gas. That is not, of all the things that you can have happen to you, breakdowns, flat tires, that is preventable, and that puts you in a dangerous situation. So make sure you keep a good amount of gas in your vehicle. The next thing is, make sure the tires are in good condition. These are all things that you can check yourself. If you look at your tires and they're getting really low on tread, they look like they're getting close to being bald, or they've got, they're worn funny, get it into a shop and have them look at it and evaluate it. Make sure that they're not, not wearing funny where you're going to end up with a blowout or a flat or anything of that nature, because that is just going to strand you on the road when the weather is not good. One other thing that is very worthwhile, take it somewhere. A lot of the auto parts stores will do this for most of the time for free. Have your battery tested. Cold weather is exceedingly hard on batteries, because the chemical reaction that makes the battery work, the colder it gets, the more that slows down. So it's harder for the batteries to produce electricity. If you have a weak battery, when the temperatures get down in the teens, the 10s, 0, it may not start your car. Or it may start it in the morning, and when you get ready to go home from work, you may be stranded there. So have them check it. Just make sure it's in good condition. It has plenty of charge. Another thing to keep an eye on is your engine coolant. Now you can buy a tester for that at Walmart or any of the auto parts stores. They're cheap. They're, in most cases you can buy one for under $5. But during the winter you want to make sure that the freeze point of your coolant is lower than the lowest temperature that you might experience in your area. And most of the testers, you open up your radiator cap or your overflow bottle cap, and it has a bulb on the end of it. The bulb, you suck some of the coolant out and fill it up to a specified level, and it will tell you roughly where your freeze point is on your coolant. That is very important, because if you have had or done any work where you drained some of the coolant out and maybe you replaced it with water and forgot about it, or maybe somebody refilled it for you and did not fill it with the proper mixture of coolant, if it freezes, especially in some of the newer vehicles, that can ruin an engine. There are supposed to be freeze plugs on some of these on vehicles that will, if the coolant freezes, will push the freeze plugs out as opposed to expanding and cracking the engine block. But that does not mean that it's not going to freeze somewhere else and expand and crack parts of the engine in smaller areas. So, you know, make sure you have the condition and the freeze point of your coolant checked, or check it yourself. You know, they're always good things to do. But as with anything, when the weather gets colder, make sure you have some cold weather gear in your vehicle, because no matter how well prepared you are, sometimes things happen and you end up stranded on the side of the road for a period of time. So make sure you have some warm stuff in your car. Anyway, I just really wanted to throw that out there, and with the temperatures getting colder, you know, give people some pointers on things to look at with their vehicle. So I hope the video, and like I said, this was just a quick and easy little job. I think all total, from the time I pulled all the tools out to the time I put all the tools away, it took me an hour to get the job completely done. I probably had at least half an hour just in actual physical on the car working on this job. So, you know, theoretically speaking, if you had to jack this up and do this in your driveway, as long as you had a sawzall or something of that nature to cut through the exhaust pipe, if you're going to use a clamp instead of welding it on, you'll need a few hand tools, your sawzall, maybe a pry bar to get the little rubber mounts off, and, you know, whatever wrench or socket you're going to need to get the clamp good and tight. And you can do this in, I would say, an hour and a half max, laying on your back in the driveway. So, you know, this is another one of those projects that, if need be, you could do it yourself and save yourself some money. So, guys, I hope you have a nice evening. Enjoy the rest of the video. Give me a thumbs up if you like it. And, you know, if you have a comment, please drop it down in the comment section. And do me a favor, click that subscribe button. And, you know, if you enjoy the video, send it along to somebody else. Maybe a few of these tips will help somebody and keep you guys from getting stranded on the side of the road this winter. So, be safe out there. And be careful when you're driving in winter weather. You never know what might happen next.